Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Triyani, NPM 191104022. Here I will present the MITES assignment for English for Specific Purpose course with the material ESP students needs analysis based on the Learning Center approach. Hutchinson and Waters 1987 defined ESP an approach meaning that it involves no explicit form of language teaching material or methodology. So the most important element of learning English is the purpose why the learner is learning the language. ESP is an approach to language instruction during which all selection on content and methodology are supported the learner's reasons for learning. This is the model of needs analysis. According to Hutchinson and Waters, first implied the learning center approach needs analysis model, which is categorized into two parts. They are target needs, what the learner needs to do in a target situation, and learning needs, what the learner needs to do in order to learn. However, the scope of this study is merely on the target needs of the learners at Polytechnic Tonggak Equator. Target needs include necessities, likes, and wants. Necessities are determined by the demand of the target situation. They are the required needs that enable the learner to use effectively within the target situation. Likes are the gap between necessities and what the learner already knows, which is the current proficiency of the learners. And wants are learners' subjective needs or what the learners want to be taught. This is the table of contents that I will cover. There are research methodology. In research methodology, there are research design, place and time of research, participants of the research, data collection technique and instrument, and data analysis. And the second is findings and discussion. There are necessities, likes, and wants. The third is discussion or the result. There are necessities, likes, and wants. And the last is conclusion. The first is research methodology. Research design. This research employed a qualitative research method. According to Creswell 2014, qualitative research is an umbrella term used to refer to the theoretical perspective designs as narrative, phenomenology, grounded theory, action research, case study, ethnography, historical research, and content analysis. The approach of the research was a case study which Creswell defines as involves a deep understanding through several types of data sources, especially evaluation in which the researchers can develop an analysis of a case, program, event, activity, and process. Place and time of research. The research was conducted in Polytechnic Tonggak Equator, Pontianak, located in Jalan Fatima 122, Pontianak, Kalimantan Barat. And the time frame was from June until December 2018. Participants of the research. The data was obtained from the students at 6th semester of the English Business and Management Program academic year 2018-2019 at Polytechnic Tonggak Equator, Pontianak. Purposive sampling was used to pick out 10 students who accept students at Polytechnic Tonggak Equator were also professionals that work in different jobs. The next is data collection technique and instrument. In this research, the main instrument will be an interview that consists of semi-structured questions. The interview was composed based on the need analysis model of Hutchinson and Waters, which will focus on the target needs of the students at Polytechnic Tonggak Equator, which is on necessities, likes, wants aspects. The interview was conducted in a small group and individually with the objective to answer the research question on what is the ESP language needs of students at Business English and Management program at Polytechnic Tonggak Equator in Pontianak. And data analysis. The data obtained in this research was analyzed qualitatively. The data obtained was analyzed by giving a code and categorized in suitable themes. Next, the data were grouped based on the similarity of the theme and analyzed manually to identify the final results. And finally, researchers read, described, compared, and blended the codes to conclude the findings. And second is findings and discussion. In this chapter, the findings and discussion of results gained from the data collection instruments are presented. There is also a presentation of the background of the informants to show that they are working in different industries. This table describes the informants' workplace and their job types. The first participants is admin in Kapuas Dharma Hotel. The second participant is secretary in a car showroom. Third participant is sales in a food company. Fourth participant is bookkeeper in a furniture shop. Fifth participant, sales and marketing staff in a car dealer. Sixth participant is sales in a property agent. Seventh participant is a beauty salon yard. The eighth participants is room teacher in a bilingual kindergarten. Nine participant is private English tutor for primary school, and the 10th participant is receptionist in a hotel. The research finding is to answer the research questions that formulated before. What is the ESP language needs of Business English and Professional Communication Program students at Polytechnic Tonggak Equator in Pontianak? The research will be described based on the target needs, which cover the necessities, likes, and wants. And this is the necessities. The necessities are about what the English needed in order to communicate in their workplace or the target situation for their job at the time. In order to answer that, the writer asked why English is necessary in your job and how do you use English in your work. And this is the answer of the participants. Second is likes. The interviews were to find out what the students have known and what they should know. The gap between those situations will be described as follows. The writers asked the participants to self-evaluate their level of English, then asked them what they think they should know. The questions are formulated below. What do you think of your level of English? And what do you think you need to learn to be able to perform well in your job? And this is the answer of the participants. And the last is wants. In order to find out the subjective needs or what the learners want to learn, the writer asks questions. What would you like to achieve in the course? And what specific skills would you like to improve? And this is the answers of the participants. The next is the discussion or the result. The focus was on the necessities, like wants of the students at semester 6 of Polytechnic Tonggak Equator. The interviews were used to find out why the students needed to enroll in ESP class, what they thought they needed to learn, and to what extent they thought they needed English in their job, study, social life. And the details are as follows. The first is necessities. In this aspect, most of them confirmed that they needed to enroll in ESP to learn a better professional English to support them in their works. For example, those who work as an admin, secretary, or bookkeeper thought that they needed specific English related to their work, such as writing business letter, reading English label, understanding vocabularies of certain products, so they could function properly. The similar perspective of the participants who worked as salesmen, in which they suggested that they could do with some conversational English to communicate with their clients. Meanwhile, the participants who worked as teachers and tutors said that ESP was important for perfecting the communication skills in teaching. And the research of Lex, the interviews intended to find out what is the gap between the participants' current competence and the English what they needed in their works. Most of them answered that intermediate levels were sufficient English as they could understand a variety of texts and follow a variety of conversation well. But they expected to learn more through the ESP course, thus announcing that they needed to improve conversation skills were working in a workplace that required the staff to speak English in interacting with other people such as teacher, tutor, or the receptionist. On the other hand, salespersons in this study thought they would be benefited by learning more vocabularies of the products that they were selling. And the result of wants. Wants are considered the subjective needs of learners that require the students to know what they want to be learned. From that situation, students will do some efforts to achieve their goals. The writer had categorized the ones based on 4 language skills, which are reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Most desired abilities the participants mentioned were communication in the form of speaking and writing, supported with sufficient vocabularies, and closely related to their industry. Since there was a wide range of industry they involved in, the vocabularies range they required were also different depending on the demand of their jobs. And the last is the conclusion. Based on the interviews and analysis, it can be concluded that ESP is a goal-oriented and focused learning in fulfilling the learner's academic and professional needs. The recommendation would be for the lecturers in the ESP to gain a solid knowledge of some fundamental aspects of ESP and ESP theoretical models of needs assessment to enable them to design a program that will meet the needs of their learners. And the recommendation would be for the lecturers in the ESP to gain a solid knowledge of some fundamental aspects of ESP and ESP theoretical models of needs assessment. And in other words, ESP instructors should design courses according to their students' professional needs, having in mind their target language use situations. And this is a syllabus that I made for students of English for Business and Professional Communication students at Polytechnic Tonggak Equator in Pontianak based on their needs. This is just one meeting. The objectives are providing oral academic communication strategies. Students must be able to communicate in the form of speaking and writing and know vocabulary accurately in exchanging information that is closely related to meeting their academic and professional needs. The indicators are to ensure their speaking skills in English, to be able to understand the conversation, and to master grammar well. And the content is students are able to speak and convey opinions, arguments, questions, answers, rebuttals in academic presentation activities. And the material will be a presentation, technique, and preparation, about the audience, and the first structure, the introduction. And the media used by PowerPoint, projector, whiteboard, markers, and eraser. And use method is direct method or natural method. And the activities are, the first is students listen to the teacher or to the lecture, explain the material, and then students present the material that has been defined. Assessment is oral test, and the time is 2 hours 45 minutes. And these are references based on the content of the material in my PowerPoint. The first is from the journal I use by Fachrunnyssa and Hutchinson and Water 1987 and John Creswell 2014. Okay, that is about my explanation for the mid-test EST course. Thank you very much for your attention. I end. Nun wal kolami wa mayasturun. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.